Hello everyone, this is Roy from Hope Chess Foundation. Welcome back to our channel. And for everyone who has not subscribed yet, please subscribe and don't forget to like the video as well. I'll be looking at 2 or 3 games that we played at the recent online zonals, and then I'll be just doing a quick analysis on the games. So the first game we'll be looking at is a game played by WCM KUDZANAI versus WIM LORITA from Zambia. Okay, we can just go ahead and get into the game. LORITA was black and then KUDZANAI was, LORITA was white and then KUDZANAI was black. So LORITA started with d4, then knight f6 by Kudzi, c4 by white, and we have e6 from black, knight c3, then bishop b4 by black. So this is the names are Indian from black, where usually from here white continues with queen c2, which is the main line in the names of where white plays queen c2, then black follows up with b6, and then bishop b7, trying to control the e4 square. But in this case, the game continued as white played bishop d2, and black continued with c5. So here, black is just trying to fight for the center by c5. So white would have to play a3 and then either just play a3, where you can still have support on the d4 square, but also have double pawns. So white continued with e3, then we have b6 from black. So the most probable move in this position would be a3 by white, chasing away the bishop. But the game continued as knight f3 from white, bishop e7 from black, and bishop e2 from white. So in this position, we still have the tension in the center, where we have the c4 and the c5 pawn attacking the d4 pawn, and also we have the pinned knight on c3, whereas after a3, black can just recapture black can just capture the knight and place a knight on e4, which are the ideas of the names of Indian, where black would have a knight on e4 and then further reinforce it with f5, and then using the diagonal, the h1 to a8 diagonal, to enforce that knight on e4. So after bishop e2, black castled, white castled as well. Then black took on d4, white recaptured with the pawn, whereas recapturing with the knight would also be fine, but now we're just trying to keep control of the c5 and e5 squares. So white recaptured with the pawn on e3. Black followed up with d5.
Then finally a3 was played. Here black played bishop e7, whereas she can still take on c3 with the bishop and take on c4. Bishop times c3, bishop times c3. Then d times c4, whereas black has the active bishop, and then he would have the active pieces where we would just develop his pieces from here. But also white has the bishop here, but now the dark square bishop is a bit inferior to the knight, whereas black controls most of the light squares, and the dark square bishop at this point is not doing much in this position. But what was played was after a3. After a3, black retreated the bishop to e7. After bishop e7, bishop e3 was played. Okay, so in this position now, white is just trying to support the pawn on d4, since white has an isoline on d4. Whereas if white had not played that, there would be ideas of taking on c4, then take on f3, and then the g4 would be hanging. But at the same time, we have to develop our knight to either d7 or c6 by black, but not black. So white played bishop a3, protecting the d4 pawn. After bishop e3, black continued with knight b to d7, and white took on d5. Black recaptured with the knight, and then so we have exchanges of pieces here. We're looking at this position and then trying to look at the piece mobilities of each player. Obviously, we have the dark square, the light square bishop for black, which is mobile than the light square bishop for white. And then on most of the pieces, the rook are still yet to be developed on the open files. So after bishop times d5, white continued with knight e5. After knight e5, black captured on e5. Black could have played knight f6, but then the knight on e5 would be taking much space for black. So black took on e5. Then white took back on e5. Then rook c8 was played. White played rook c1. Challenging the open file. Black took the rook on c1, then white recaptured with the queen. Then black played queen c8, challenging the same file again. So here black could have, since black wants to have control of the c file, black could have played queen a8. We are attacking the g2 square. and also after and then black is forced to defend on G2, and then after white defends, then black can just follow up with rook c8, and then that's gaining the control of the c file. Okay, but white played queen c8, then we have queen d2 by white. We have rook d8 by black. Threatening bishop times g2 or even bishop c4. White continued with rook c1. So in this position, the queen has to flee from c8. Black played queen b7. Until this in this position, our discovered attack on the queen would not work, since after bishop times f3, white can just recapture with the bishop on f3, because you are attacking the queen on b7. So the other move that we can play to discover the queen is bishop c4, where black can just play queen e1 or queen c2. But in this position, black challenged the rook on c8, and we have king f2 by white. Rook times c1, queen times c1, then we have queen c6 by black, challenging the c file again. Then we have queen d2 by white, avoiding the exchange. Then we have queen c7 by black, attacking the pawn on e5. White could not play f4, because it's not a good move when we are opening the h1a diagonal that we had closed. And the moment we open the h1a diagonal, this bishop becomes a bit powerful than the white light square bishop. So white continued with bishop d4, then we have h6 from black, opening a breather. Then we have bishop d3. Then we have bishop d3 by white. Then we have bishop c5, pinning the bishop on d4 and also attacking it. And we have queen e3. And black retreats back to e7, and we have bishop. Then we have bishop b1 with the ideas of trying to play queen d3 and queen d3, then queen h7. So black responded with queen c4, and white played bishop d3 again. And we have queen c6. White continued with b4. Then black played bc7, then we have bishop b1 by white. We have queen c4, then we have queen d3 by white. So in this case, if black tries to retreat the queen, we have the queen attacking, aiming at h7, where we have queen h7 check. Then after king f8, we have queen h8 checkmate. So the queens will exchange, queen times d3, bishop times d3. Okay, so after bishop times d3, we have king f8 from black. Then white continued with b5, trying to prevent the king from coming to the queen side through e8 and d7. Then we have bishop g4, bishop g5 by black, bishop c3 by white. So after bishop g5, the idea was if white had not played bishop c3, we would attack. Then would play. Let's say if black would play something reckless, like g3, would play bishop c1. Then after a4, we can just play bishop d2, attacking the b4 pawn. And then after a4, we have bishop d2. Then we still have a5, and black will still regain the pawn. And then the position would be more drawish. But instead, after bishop g5, we have bishop c3 by white, bishop e7 by black, and king e3, bishop d8, a4, king e7, and we have a5. So this position is quite equal, and there is not much either color can do, unless one makes a serious blunder in this position. So after a5, we have bishop b7, then we have bishop d4 by white, and a3 chasing away the bishop. So bishop c5 check, king d7, then we have bishop c2, then we have g6 by black, and then g3 by white, h5, bishop e4, and then capture. Then we have king d4. So if white didn't play king d4, black would take on e5, because white can't recapture, because the b pawn is the one that's supporting the bishop on c5. So after king d4, black can't take, because the king is now supporting the bishop on c5. So after bishop c7, we have f4, bishop d8, and then we have g5. So in this position, we have bishop c7, then we have bishop f8, and the position drew, because there was just repetition of moves, and then there's not much either color can do, and then the game ended as a draw. And